All right, hello everyone. This is our final presentation and live demo of our project VitalMotion for the CS130 capstone. Just a brief introduction to the team. We have Amin Dosti, Emily Nam, Hassan Rizvi, myself, Morgan Mason, and Kelly Yu. All of us are computer science students, with Amin also being a physics double major. All right, so just a bit about the motivation, the user benefits, why what is our app for? Those who are people who are injured or people who are in chronic pain, they often struggle to stay on track with the physical therapy that they're trying to implement. And even when people exercise regularly, it's hard to, coalesce that with pain tracking as well, and it can discourage people on their physical therapy journey. There's a lot of apps that do strength tracking, there's a lot of apps that do pain tracking, but our apps, aims to be the intersection between that, doing both workout and pain tracking together. And we hope to simplify that process, help users manage their discomfort, and achieve their recovery goals. So going into a bit of a live demo of some of the functionality of our site. Here is our deployed site right here. As you can see, we're just looking at the login page, and we can register here, we can log in, but I'm just going to go ahead and log into an account I already have set up. All right, and it'll take you immediately to the workout pages, which is one of our main pages, which I'll run through real quick right now. So you can see it's fetching all of our workouts in the back end. And basically what's going on here is that we have all these workout templates, and then you can also choose to start the workout. That's actually like logging an actual completed workout. So these templates, you can imagine, maybe you were planning, I'll do this one on Monday, this one on Tuesday. It's really up to the user, but the idea is we give them the ability to make these templates to say, I'm planning to do this many sets of this many reps of this many pounds of XYZ exercise. So that's kind of what's going on here. And you can edit these, you can delete these, but more interestingly, we can go into making one. So you can build one from scratch, which basically creates an empty workout. But what's even cooler is that we have this recommendation feature based on the user's history and based on a focus area. It'll generate one for you. So let's say we wanted to do a leg day. It'll generate a workout for us based on this user's history and based on that muscle group. So you can see it's kind of recommending this workout. And we can also edit this. We can say, you know what, I'm actually wanted to do some crunches. So yeah. It generates us an extra, a workout. We can also edit it ourselves once we see that. We can add a new exercise. We can say, you know what, I also want to do some bench press, and we can say I'm going to do 2 sets maybe. Who knows, and that's basically what's going on here. When you create an empty workout, it's a similar process. When you edit a workout, it's basically the same page, but the idea here is on this page you can kind of create, edit, delete workout templates. So let's save that. Great. And one thing we can also do, I'll show off the edit page here, is you can also get an individual exercise recommendation. So, based on this one's saying based on our previous workouts, and we'll show what that is. We'll be able to work with glutes at a higher intensity. So it's basically saying, maybe we can turn up the weight here, maybe we can throw another glute exercise, but based on the heuristics and the data it has in the backend, that's the recommendation it's making. So I can, update that. I can save that workout. All right, and back to this, you can see that that's been edited, and we've showed off the exercise recommendations, shown off the workout recommendations, and then also we can, start one of these workouts. And this is where you're actually logging, an actual instance of you performing a workout. So those are templates. This is kind of you actually doing it, and it shows on the left here what you intended to do. But in reality, maybe you did a little bit higher on this. Maybe you did a few less sets on this. And then importantly, you can kind of know like what the difficulty of that day was, which helps with the recommendation heuristics. You have the day you completed it. You can enter any notes. And when you complete that workout, it'll take you to the history page.
Let's actually hop over to the notes page. It'll make the history page a little bit more intuitive. So under the notes page, the user can log 3 different types of notes. They can log their pain notes, medication notes, and journals. For each type of note, they fill out a different form. So for the pain notes, they select their body part and the pain level associated with it. Once they're done, it'll show up under the pain notes. For the medication notes, they can do something similar where they fill out the medication name, the dosage, and time. When they add the medication note, it should show up under the medication tab in a similar way. Currently, we have no journals, but the user can enter in a new journal entry in a similar way again. Say, let's type in content. When they add a journal entry, the date that they enter the journal will show up here, and the content will show up right below. Another thing that the user can do is to delete any of these notes. As you can see here, we can use the delete button, and the note will disappear. Now, hopping over to the history page, we have 3 different key features on this page. The first one being the streak counter, which will keep track of the number of workouts the user has completed. And based on this number, the user will be shown a different series of random motivational messages to keep them going. So if I reload this, you can see that the message changes. Below that, we have 2 other key features, and on the right side, we have all our history items, which is a collection of the workouts the user has completed and the pain notes that they have entered. On the left side, we translate this into a form of graph so that they can see their progress better. So at the top here, we see 2 calendar pickers, one for selecting the start date and one for selecting the end date. This is how the user can filter the dates that they want to see their progress in. Below that, we have 2 different types of graphs, one for workouts and one for pain notes. For workouts, we chose a weekly line graph. So this shows the number of workouts the user has completed each week during the date range that they have selected. So right now we have the date range up to the 28th selected. And for the workouts completed, we have one workout from November 20th and one workout from December 1st. So this date range does not account for this top workout, just the one at the bottom. So for this week, you only see that the user completed one workout. If I extend this range to the first, the line graph updates and you can see the progress that the user has made over the course of these 2 weeks from the date range January 1st and December 1st. For pain notes, we do something a little bit different. We chose to use daily graphs, which shows the average pain level that the user feels for each body part each day. We split the graphs by body part. On the right side, you can see we have 4 pain notes, and for forearms, we have pain notes on 2 separate dates, on November 27th and November 28th. So we see 2 data points in a line connecting the progress that the user has made from November 27th to November 28th. For quadriceps, we have 2 entries. One is on the 28th and the other is also on the 28th. And the pain levels are different. 5 plus 1 divided by 2 is 3, which is what we show up here. We took the average of the pain levels that the user entered in on the same date. So yeah, that's basically it for our history page. We want to show all the workouts and pain that they have logged and translate it into graphs so they can better visualize their progress over time. And that wraps up our live demo.
All right, now let's get on to our architecture and design choices. We decided to go with an n-tiered application with a layered application structure. We have our front end, which is hosted on Netlify using Expo, our backend, which is written with Python and Flask and is hosted on Python Anywhere, and our database, which is Firestore. Our front end very neatly fit into its own layers as well as our database, and our backend, we decided to split into 2 sections. One section is handling requests from the front end, and the other section is integrating with the database and processing information given before we hand it off to the user. For this reason, we've also decided to go with a model view presenter. Our application has a lot of data processing and noting and creating tags associated with user data. So we want to make sure that our user is always going through our logic before they can interact with our database. And of course, our program is very much a design pattern. We have our main user through which everything is abstracted away to make it easy for the user to interact with. There were some small adjustments to how data is transferred and used, but ultimately we still have our main user, which allows our main user class, which allows users to do what they need to do, but also hide away the complexity of actually accomplishing those goals, logging any additional information associated with it, and storing it.
Going over the implementation choices, we are using Expo for our front end, which is excellent. It provides quick and easy setup and also has ample documentation available online for us to use. And for the backend, we're using Flask, which is simple, reliable, and is compatible with PyTest for backend testing. And for our database, we're using Firebase, which is provided by Google and is also easy to set up, scalable, and reliable for us to take advantage of. And for our testing, we are using PyTest for our backend and Jest for our front end. For the backend, we're using PyTest and focusing on our API endpoints, input validation, and error handling. And for the front end, we're using Jest to handle our component rendering, state management, and user interactions. And for future proofing, we maintain modular test cases, utilize parameterized tests for scalability, and mock dependencies to isolate components effectively. And for the CI/CD, we are using GitHub Actions, Netlify, and Python Anywhere. For the CI process, we're using GitHub Actions, which automatically runs backend and front-end tests, and it ensures that the code is of quality and also the bugs are caught early on. And for the first part of our CD process, we're using Netlify for our front end, which automatically builds and deploys updates from the main branch. And for the backend, we're using custom GitHub Actions to sync our changes to Python Anywhere and also restart the application seamlessly. And the benefits of our CI/CD pipeline is that it's reliable, it prevents bugs, and also scalable for future project growth.
Now for reflections. We determined our product backlog in part A, in which we decided there would be 3 epics, 1 per sprint with 3 stories each. This left us with approximately 1 week for each sprint. We completed our daily stand-up through Discord messages and our sprint review and retrospectives in a meeting in which we took meeting minutes that tracked our sprint results and noted our reflections on how to improve as a team. One team enhancement that we implemented was using Discord threads to discuss different PRs. As for contributions, Hassan, Amin, and Morgan all primarily worked on backend, while Kelly and I worked on front end. Throughout our project, the 3 most important traits of a team that we learned was collaboration, communication, and prioritization. I'd specifically like to highlight it was really important for us to stay in communication online throughout the entire development process, as well as learn time management and know which functionalities were most important to work on at a time. As for future work and improvements, we'd love to enhance the recommendation algorithm to provide specific exercises, as well as make the front end fully compatible with mobile devices. If we had more time, we'd also like for users to be able to complete their workout while logging, such as by including a workout timer and live motivation messages, as well as syncing data with health devices. For final comments, other than learning that a sprint is definitely a sprint, we gained a lot of useful skills for industry practices, both for computer science projects and in general. Thank you for listening to our presentation.